Hello, and welcome to this Federal Maritime Commission webinar, where we will be exploring the differences between reporting violations to the Commission for potential enforcement, filing a complaint for adjudication, and contacting the Office of Consumer Affairs and Dispute Resolution Services, also known as CADRS. In July 2021, as a result of the findings from the Fact-Finding 29 investigation, Commissioner Rebecca Dye, the fact-finding officer, issued a series of interim recommendations for the Commission aimed at minimizing barriers to private party enforcement of the Shipping Act, clarifying Commission and industry processes, encouraging stakeholders to assist the Commission enforcement actions, and support the ability of CADRS to facilitate prompt and fair dispute resolution. One of the fact-finding officer's recommendations was in response to confusion about the processes at the Commission and how they can be utilized by the public. To combat this confusion, the fact-finding officer recommended holding a webinar to explain the differences between contacting CADRS, seeking enforcement action, and filing a small claims or formal complaint. This is the goal for today's webinar. For the next few minutes, we will walk through the differences in contacting CADRS, filing a small claims or formal complaint, and reporting a suspected violation to the FMC. We will explain how to begin these processes or contact these offices, what the processes look like, how long they take, and what potential outcomes you may achieve as a result. Along the way, we'll talk about some of the things you may want to consider before beginning down an individual path. Where to begin? Before you contact the FMC or begin down one of these paths, it's important to first think about what type of resolution are you looking for. Is your cargo stuck somewhere and you're looking to get it moving? Are you looking to have the FMC investigate and possibly impose penalties on an entity? Were you charged for something and you're looking to get your money back? Knowing what you intend to gain through the process will be helpful in choosing where to begin. But it's also important to consider what type of process you're looking to employ. Specifically, how involved do you want to be? What sort of time are you willing to commit to having this issue resolved? And how flexible are you in solutions? The answer to this question is also helpful in determining where to start. Let's say you want to report a violation, but you're not interested in resolving an ongoing dispute or receiving damages. You just want the Commission to know about a bad actor and to begin an investigation. If that's the case, then you should contact an area representative to report a suspected violation of the Shipping Act so that they can investigate it. Are you in an ongoing dispute and you want it solved as quickly as possible, but you're flexible on what a solution looks like? Then you should contact CADRS so that they can help you work toward a commercial solution. Would you like your issue heard by a settlement officer or an administrative law judge? Do you know exactly what type of resolution you're looking for and you're not willing to be flexible on that point? Are you comfortable with a lengthier process that may take more time to be resolved? If so, your best option may be to file a small claims or formal complaint. And a great way to get started is by contacting the Office of the Secretary. These are the three options that we'll be discussing in today's webinar. But let's begin by exploring the process for reporting a suspected violation. If you believe that someone is violating the Shipping Act, you can report this information to the Commission for the FMC to investigate. It's important to remember that in these cases, the FMC is not advocating for you personally. Instead, this process is a vehicle of deterrence. When someone contacts the FMC because they believe that another party is in violation of the Shipping Act, that information is directed to one of our area representatives, who have offices at all the major ports in the United States, including in Los Angeles, Houston, Seattle, South Florida, New Orleans, and New York. Area representatives serve many functions at the Commission, but for purposes of our conversation today, they are the first step in requesting an investigation. An area representative will review the information provided and begin gathering facts and investigating the allegations. If enough evidence exists to warrant moving forward, a case may ultimately be brought to our Bureau of Enforcement for review and any further action deemed appropriate. If you would like to report a suspected violation of the Shipping Act, then you should either contact the local area representative. Their contact information can be found on our website at fmc.gov, or send an email to complaints@fmc.gov, and it will be directed to the appropriate office or individual at the Commission. Once an area representative receives your email, they will begin investigating the allegations, but there's a few things you can include when contacting them to ensure that things get started smoothly and as quickly as possible. First, make sure to include the name, and if you have it, the contact information of the entities involved. Also, be sure to include a summary of the issues, including when the violation happened and for how long it's been going on. Finally, be sure to include a description of the type of documentation that you can provide to support these allegations. The area representative may reach out to you for copies of documentation if they determine it can be useful. So you've reported a violation to an area representative, but what happens next? Well, as with any investigation, it's difficult to say how the process will go and for how long this process can take from start to finish. But once an area representative receives your information, they will begin investigating the allegations. The area representative may follow up with you for additional information and may even ask you to provide testimony, but you will not be receiving personal updates on the matter. That includes any decision regarding moving forward with the investigation. If enough evidence exists to support a potential violation of the Shipping Act, the matter may be referred to the Bureau of Enforcement for possible further action against the alleged offender. The Commission may rely on information you provided as evidence, so confidentiality cannot be guaranteed. Also, remember, this process is not a form of advocacy for your particular issue or dispute. The case may ultimately become a formal proceeding and assigned to an administrative law judge, who may make a finding of violations or impose sanctions. The Commission may, for example, assess civil penalties, revoke an ocean transportation intermediary's license, or suspend tariffs. The proceeding may also be resolved by way of a settlement. In either case, remember the enforcement process is a vehicle of deterrence, and any civil penalties that are collected will not be distributed to you. Again, reporting a violation to an area representative is a great option if you're looking to notify the Commission of a bad actor. But if you're looking for some kind of resolution to your individual case, it might not be the best option. Fortunately, the Commission has two routes you can explore if you're looking for a solution to an individual dispute. You can either file a small claims or formal complaint, or you can contact the Office of Consumer Affairs and Dispute Resolution Services, also known as CADRS. Let's start by talking about the relief that CADRS can provide. CADRS provides assistance to parties engaged in commercial disputes involving the international transportation of goods by ocean vessel and to cruise passengers that embark in the U.S. and experience problems. This assistance is free and can be a quick and no-cost solution to resolving a dispute. The staff in CADRS works with both sides of a dispute and does not advocate for one or another. Instead, the office communicates with all sides to try and reach a mutually agreeable commercial solution. When CADRS takes on a matter, the goal is to settle the ongoing dispute. CADRS staff handles a variety of cases involving commercial cargo, household goods, and cruises. However, CADRS can only act within the scope of its authority. If you have a dispute involving collections or loss of cargo or damage or breach of contract, it's unlikely CADRS will be able to help you. CADRS can assist with stalled cargo, lost containers, the inability to get appointments, misapplied demurrage or detention charges, and other issues as well. CADRS can also offer help for canceled or disrupted cruises, disputes over future cruise credits, injuries sustained while on a vessel, and other issues. However, again, This assistance still must be within the confines of the Commission's statutory authority. If you have a dispute involving a cruise that did not embark from the United States, CADRS will not be able to assist you. But regardless of your type of dispute, the way to begin working with CADRS is by emailing complaints@fmc.gov. Once a staff member in CADRS receives your email, they will begin reviewing your submission. To avoid any delay, it's important to include all of the necessary information upfront in your initial email. First, make sure to include your name and contact information, or, if you are a business, the name and contact information of someone who is familiar with the situation and has the authority to make decisions. Please also include the name and contact information for the other parties that are involved in this dispute. It is also important to include a summary of the issues and a summary of your attempts at resolving the issue and any settlement offers that have been extended to you at this point. Finally, be sure to include all relevant documentation. This can include screenshots of no appointments, bills of lading, documentation of an injury sustained while aboard a cruise, or cruise credit documentation. Long strings of emails are usually not helpful pieces of documentation, but CADRS staff can always ask to see them if necessary. So you've reached out to CADRS, but what happens next? Well, once you send an email to complaints@fmc.gov seeking the assistance of CADRS, you will receive a response acknowledging the receipt of your email. If necessary, after an initial review, you may receive another email asking for additional documentation or information. Once there is sufficient information, you will receive an email that the matter has been assigned to a specific CADRS staff member. This email will include a reference number that you should use in future communications with CADRS. CADRS staff will contact you again when a response is received from the other side. For most cargo issues, responses usually come within a week. Cruise lines may take a little longer to respond as they evaluate the situation and determine a response. Remember, this is a voluntary process. The other side is not required to participate, and CADRS cannot compel them if they choose not to participate. CADRS will work with both sides to reach some type of commercial settlement. There may be some back and forth between the parties as the issues are worked out, but remember, CADRS cannot force the other side to agree to a specific resolution. However, they will assist both sides to reach an agreement. And that is a brief overview of the CADRS process. Through this free, voluntary process, CADRS assists parties in reaching commercial solutions. It is also a very efficient method of resolving disputes. This whole process, from start to finish, usually only takes between 2 weeks and 30 days. But maybe you're less flexible on a solution, and you want your decision heard by an adjudicator. Maybe you've tried informal attempts at resolving the dispute through commercial solutions on your own or with the help of CADRS, and you're unsatisfied with the result, and you're looking for a legally binding decision. If that describes your situation, you may want to consider filing a complaint. The Shipping Act allows private parties to sue one another before the FMC for violations of the Shipping Act. These claims can either be brought as a small claims complaint or as a formal complaint. So what's the difference between a small claims complaint and a formal complaint? A small claim may be filed to seek reparations from another individual or company for economic injury not exceeding $50,000 caused by a Shipping Act violation. In terms of what the actual complaint should look like, the Commission provides a standard format for filing a small claims complaint. This format can be found on our website at fmc.gov. Decisions are rendered by a settlement officer using informal procedures governed by the Commission's Rules of Practice and Procedure. Please note that the respondent can object to these informal procedures. If a respondent refuses the informal procedure, the claim will be assigned to an administrative law judge for formal adjudication pursuant to the Commission's formal procedure for the adjudications of small claims. A formal complaint can also be filed with the Commission to allege violations of the Shipping Act, but unlike a small claims complaint, there are no restrictions on the amount of damages that you can seek. The Commission provides detailed instructing for drafting a formal complaint on our website, and the Commission also maintains a log or listing of all documents received or issued in formal proceedings before the Commission. Through this function, you can look at examples of complaints that have been filed in the past. Please note that at this time, logs are neither generated nor published for small claims complaints. Formal complaints are assigned to an administrative law judge and adjudicated pursuant to the Commission's rules of practice and procedure. Whether you're pursuing a formal or a small claims complaint, it's a good idea to consult with the Commission rules prior to filing, and it may be helpful to consult with an attorney too. We've spent some time on what a formal or small claims complaint is, but let's spend a few more minutes going over the who, why, and how of complaints before the Commission. Let's begin with who. Who may file a complaint before the Commission? The answer is anyone. This obviously includes shippers or carriers, but the Commission recently issued a statement on representative complaints where it reiterated that any person really means any person and includes shippers associations and trade groups or trade associations. The type of person filing may limit the outcomes available, but does not preclude filing a complaint. You are not required to use an attorney to draft or file your complaint, but most people do, and depending on your circumstances, it may be a good idea. So, why would someone file a Shipping Act complaint? Well, because the Shipping Act allows for a variety of types of relief. This includes damages, additional damages up to twice the amount of actual damages for certain Shipping Act violations, and even an injunction, though you must go to a federal court to enforce this. And how do you file a complaint? Like beginning any legal proceeding, there are several requirements for format and content that must accompany your complaint. A good place to start is by visiting the Commission's website at fmc.gov. Not only will you find the statutes and regulations that control how complaints must be filed, but as was mentioned on the last slide, the Commission provides a standard format for filing a small claims complaint and also has detailed instructions for what a formal complaint must look like on our website. On our website, you will also find a lot of helpful information. For example, the Commission recently issued 3 policy statements that provide guidance on bringing private party complaints. In addition to the one mentioned earlier on who may file a complaint, you'll also find a recently issued guidance on attorney's fees and guidance on protection from retaliation. During the COVID-19 pandemic, the Commission is also temporarily waiving certain requirements, so it's always a good idea to start by visiting the Commission's website at fmc.gov or by contacting the Office of the Secretary at secretary@fmc.gov. So you've decided you'd like to file a formal complaint or a small claims complaint. What happens next? To start a complaint, you begin by filing it with the Commission's Office of the Secretary, who will then refer it to the Office of Administrative Law Judges. Again, visit the Commission's website at fmc.gov or contact the Office of the Secretary at secretary@fmc.gov for more information on how to get started. But once you file a complaint, the legal proceedings begin. The other side, also known as the respondent, will have an opportunity to respond to your claims. The settlement officer or the administrative law judge may issue a variety of orders. For example, a scheduling order or an order explaining how and when to submit evidence. Parties may also submit motions where they request the administrative law judge or the settlement officer to take certain actions. The case will be decided either solely based on the written record, or there may be a hearing, similar to a trial, where witnesses appear in person and give testimony under oath. Once a decision is rendered, the case may be reviewed by the Commission, either upon request by either party or at the discretion of any commissioner. Unlike CADRS, where the goal is quick settlement, here regulations control timing and resolutions. In order to give each side the opportunity to fairly present their case, and for the settlement officer, judge, or commission to render a fair verdict, things can move a little more slowly. It's not uncommon for cases to take months or years to resolve. However, If you have an issue with another party and your attempts at resolving it have been unsuccessful and you're looking for a legally binding decision, this could be an excellent option for you. In conclusion, let's recap the ways the FMC can help you that we've discussed today. If you believe that someone is violating the Shipping Act, you should report it to the Commission. The FMC may take the information you provide to begin an investigation and impose penalties. But remember, the FMC will not be advocating for your particular case, and any penalties that the FMC collects as a result of its action will not be distributed to you. To report someone you believe is in violation of the Shipping Act, contact your local area representative. Their contact information can be found on our website, or email complaints@fmc.gov. If you're looking for informal assistance to resolve an existing dispute, CADRS is a great resource. CADRS offers free assistance to help parties identify commercial solutions to shipping or cruise disputes. Remember, CADRS cannot force parties to participate or enforce a resolution and can only operate within the scope of the Shipping Act. But CADRS offers an effective and generally efficient path for resolving disputes. To get started with CADRS, email complaints@fmc.gov. And finally, if you are looking for a resolution to your issue and you're looking to recover some sort of damages, but you're unable to resolve the situation informally, you can always file a small claims or formal complaint. The best way to start this is by visiting fmc.gov or contacting the Office of the Secretary. As you can see, there are a number of ways that the FMC can assist you with your shipping-related issues. If you have questions or would like more information on the services offered by one of these offices, please reach out. We would be happy to assist you. Also, you can always visit us online at fmc.gov for more information about the Commission. And with that, we have reached the end of our presentation for today. Thank you again for joining us as we explored some of the ways the FMC can help you report issues or resolve disputes.